The Denver Nuggets, who began as the Denver Rockets, much less an NBA title. Jalen is ready. Wilbon is ready. Stephen A. is ready. And we are ready to roll here. You mentioned Tyler Herro. Let's quickly start with that. Woj is on the floor with the very latest. Tyler Herro, who has essentially missed the entire postseason for Miami. Realistically, what are the expectations tonight, Woj?
Yeah, Greeny, Tyler Herro was upgraded to questionable this morning, and I'm told that he's expected to suit up and try to play tonight with the Heat down 3-1, their season on the line. He's been out with that fractured hand and then the surgery to repair it since game 1 against the Bucks all the way back in the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. Now, what Tyler Herro would be able to give the Heat is unclear, and how much Eric Spoelstra could trust him in an elimination game after essentially being out for 2 months. But this Miami backcourt has struggled to score, struggled to shoot the ball. Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, they missed 23 of 27 shots in the last 2 games. And so the Heat will see if Tyler Herro can give them anything tonight. That right hand, I'm told, continues to be sore. It is not 100%, but he has been upgraded, and the expectation is he will give it a shot tonight.
All right, it is literally and figuratively all hands on deck for the Heat tonight facing elimination. I apologize in advance for how ridiculously bad that pun is. Just quickly before I get to anything, you were watching the video. What did you see there?
I don't anticipate much from Tyler Herro because it becomes a target when you wear the brace, number one, so people are going to be whacking at it. Number 2, you can't fall and brace yourself. And 3, the Miami Heat needs steals and deflections. He's going to be very hesitant to reach his hand in there and try to create those.
All right, so realistically, maybe the cavalry is not coming. So, Stephen A. Smith, what adjustments can Miami make, must they make, to force a game 6?
Lots of prayer, number 1. Number 2, let's get some level of production from your role players, but it's got to start with Jimmy Butler. The fact of the matter is that last game, I think, told the whole story. You've been waiting for these role players to step up. Caleb Martin went from averaging 19 points a game in the conference finals to 6 this NBA finals. You look at Max Strus, he's scoreless in 2 out of 4 NBA finals games as a shooting guard, with the exception of his 4 for 7 shooting in the first quarter of game 2. He has shot 1 for 24 the rest of this final series, and him and Gabe Vincent combined to score 2 points, tied for the worst in NBA history in the finals in the last 50 years. So if you're Jimmy Butler, you're aware of most, if not all, of these things. You've got to step up. You've got to be a star. You've got to galvanize them in order for you to push this to game 6 back in Miami.
They need a lot of things to happen. All of what Stephen A. just said. They need all of that. They need Jimmy Butler to sort of have a flashback to earlier in the playoffs when he was healthier. Let's be fair about that.
Yes.
They need the role players. They need three-point shooting. They need to defend as well as they can Joker and Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon, who's 28 points in the previous game, came as somewhat a surprise. That's like a flashback for him to Orlando days. But look, Denver's got everybody working and going. I halfway expect to see Michael Porter Jr. come out and have the kind of game he hasn't had in this series. So Miami's got to check a lot of boxes, Greeny. There's no one place. Oh, Jimmy Butler scores 40. That alone is not going to carry them to advance this series.
How about this? Take it personal. It's one thing to be the inferior team. It's another thing to be the underdog. But now you got to make it a little chippy. You got to get physical with the Joker. You got to get Jamal Murray mad at you. Both of those guys haven't felt the Miami Heat in this series at all. And I think that's the one thing you can do that has nothing to do with the box score. You got to take it personal. Pretend like your season on the line, which it is. Fight the way you've been fighting to get here, but don't go down without swinging.
Well, look, Jalen's Indiana Pacers were in this situation, albeit at home, down 3-1 in the finals against Kobe and Shaq. Won that game 5, by over 30 points. So he knows of which he speaks. We'll have a lot more from here as we go. Gabe Vincent getting a Stephen A. What do they need from him tonight?
How about just scoring some points, man? How about scoring more than 1 field goal? How about reminding them guard's job is to score?
Kevin, back to you.
Stephen A's preaching. A year ago, the Colorado Avalanche, they brought the Stanley Cup back to Denver ahead. The countdown crew will bring
one with swagger. The Nuggets tend to follow. So, and what he hopes will be his final message to the team this season, if they win a championship, he wants the Nuggets to turn the clock back to 2020. Go back to the bubble, where they were a desperate team clawing back from down 3-1 against the Utah Jazz to beat them in the first round, and clawing back from a 3-1 deficit against the Clippers to become the only team to do that and come back from that deficit 2 times in the same postseason. He wants his team not to think about being up 3-1 and clinching tonight. He wants them to be desperate like they were in the bubble and feel like they're down 1-3 to beat the Heat.
Thank you so much. Now for more, let's go over to Hannah.
With basketball analyst Monica McNutt. So, Monica, we've heard the message from Michael Malone. We've also heard Nikola Jokic echo that. Let's play with a sense of desperation and urgency. He's great about giving them a swing thought going into every game. What does Denver need to do to close it out tonight?
Well, I think that urgency and that desperation will be manifested with how they defend this Miami Heat squad. Listen, they're the team with their back against the wall. They don't have to manufacture anything. They're really in that position. And so there's going to be some intensity that they are going to play with, that the Nuggets have the ability to match, but they will have to match it. I shouldn't say never, rarely concerned about the Nuggets offensively. Nikola Jokic is a stalwart in this postseason run. I think Jamal Murray has to be prepared for a concerted defensive effort led by Jimmy Butler to slow him down. I think Aaron Gordon is going to have to be prepared for some extra physicality coming off of his terrific performance on Friday night. And so for me, it's going to be about the Nuggets' ability and preparedness to absorb the punches that Miami is inevitably going to throw in order to salvage their season.
Yeah, that's one of the ways that the Heat took game 2 in Denver, was really keeping that ball away from Jamal Murray. We know you're on the Heat, Monica, tonight, so we're going to get back to you in just a second on that. But Stan Kroenke, what a run he is having as a win for the Nuggets would certainly be a feather in the cap for him. Back in 2020, the Rams defeating the Bengals 23-20 to win their first Super Bowl since 1999, their second overall in franchise history, more for one of Kroenke's teams, and his incredible run as an owner. The Avalanche dethroning the Tampa Bay Lightning in Game 6 to become the Stanley Cup champions last year. And then the Nuggets, now a win away from winning their first ever NBA title. Overwhelming odds that it'll happen. Teams that go up 3-1 in a finals are 35-1 all time. Jay?
All right, Hannah, let's talk about the Heat. We bring in NBA reporter Nick Friedel. Nick, what is the feeling around this Miami team as they face the potential of elimination again tonight?
Jay, they're confident. And that is really something to say when a team is down 3-1, but they are laid back. Eric Spoelstra said, this is when we've been at our best all season, when our backs are against the wall, when we feel like everybody's counted us out. We're ready. Jimmy Butler said the same thing. This is a team that believes that we can still do it. We believe we're going to get this win tonight. We believe we're going to get 2 more, and we still believe we're going to win a title. Bam Adebayo, Jay, was up at the podium saying, hey, we got to celebrate Kevin Love's baby. He was trying to keep everything in perspective, but all the mental toughness and all the good feelings in the world aren't going to help the Heat if they don't start hitting shots. Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent, guys who really helped them during this postseason run, they've been up and down. Max Strus has been really solid for this team. He's just 5 for 31 in this series. So the key for Miami is to keep that edge that they want mentally, but they've got to start early and often, knocking down from the outside, creating some space for Jimmy Butler to operate. Jay, if they do that, they'll have a much better chance of extending the series and sending it back to Miami.
Yeah. All right, Nick Friedel, thank you so much. Let's go back over to Hannah.
Yeah, Jay, I mean, if you look at just their three-point shooting, they're shooting under 37% from three-point range. Monica is a Heat believer, if you've been watching ESPN all morning. And you know what? I don't blame you, because they're 13-9 in elimination games under Spo. We know how tough this team is. How do you think they're going to get it done tonight in Denver?
Well, it's interesting that Friedel brought up the shooters needing to knock down shots to create room for Jimmy. Or if you want to say Jimmy's going to have to be aggressive to create room for the shooters and to soak up the defense from the Denver Nuggets. Look, there's no secret. They have to hit from behind the three-point line if they want to give themselves a chance tonight. They also cannot turn the basketball over 15 times. I do not expect Bam Adebayo to have 7 turnovers. I think Jimmy Butler will have the type of presence and urgency that will lead this team. I'm not sure that looks like a 35-point-plus performance, but whatever this team will need, I'm pretty confident that he'll rise to the occasion. The thing about inconsistency, Hannah and Jay, is that you get back to those highs at some point, and they've had some low lows. So I just don't see this Miami Heat squad going out like this. This is an organization that is too prideful, and I think the culture shows up. I don't think they have enough to get it done in terms of winning a title this year, but I don't think it ends tonight.
But they can get it back to South Beach. Listen, they've won 7 on the road. They went into Boston. Look at what they did to the Celtics. They won Game 2 in Denver. I think it's almost impossible to pick against this team. And you didn't. Monica McNutt coming back with more. And if you are, like Monica, you're looking for a glimmer of hope for both South Florida teams, the Heat and the Panthers are facing